In today's video, I'm going to be sharing 3 granny triangles every crocheter should know. These versatile motifs are especially popular for bunting, which is simply a string of decorative triangles joined together to create a garland for parties, nurseries, and really any kind of home decor. Today I want to show you 3 different versions: a traditional granny, a solid granny, and a no-gap versions. That way you can see how each one is constructed and decide which style suits you best. For the samples you see here, I used a weight 4 cotton yarn with a 4mm hook. A 5mm is usually recommended for this yarn weight, but I just prefer working with this hook size. One quick note about triangles: they're just as finicky as a classic granny square. The bigger you go, the more they want to skew and swish. So just keep that in mind if you want to go bigger. 4 to 5 rounds is your sweet spot. After that, you're going to need to do some troubleshooting that I'll mention later in the video. For all 3 versions, I'm going to start with the first round with half double crochets. Typically, you'll see it done with double crochets, but like I mentioned, this can be pretty finicky, and I found that the shorter stitch helped a lot. To begin, make a magic ring, or you can do a chain 4 with a slip stitch to form a ring. I'll go ahead and do that here. So that was chain 4 with a slip stitch. Since we're working with half double crochets, begin with a chain 2. That's going to serve as your first half double crochet. You can also use a stacked single if you prefer. Next, work 2 half doubles into the ring. Notice I'm also working over the tail. This way I can pull it at the end to close the center. Next, chain 2 and work 3 half doubles into the ring. Chain 2, 3 half doubles, so far we've done 3 half double crochet clusters and 2 chain 2 spaces. If you're changing colors, I'd recommend that you do a chain 2 and add a slip stitch into the top of the very first stitch that you made. If you're using the same color, I would recommend that you replace the chain 2 with a half double crochet. Work it into the top of the first stitch. This will place you into the middle of the corner. If you are changing colors, fasten back on into any chain 2 corner space using your favorite method. And now on round 2 and throughout, we're working with double crochets. So to begin, chain 3 to serve as your first double crochet, or you can do stacked singles, working into the same space, pull up a loop, yarn over, working into the sidebar of the single you just made, pull through a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. So this is serving as my first double crochet. Add 2 more doubles into the same space. This is half of a corner made. Chain 1, crossing over to the next chain 2 space, we're going to work another corner. That's 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 1, and then working in your next corner, 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles. Chain 1. We're back to our first corner. We need to complete it. So add 3 double crochets. And then add a half double crochet into the very first stitch made. Or if you're fastening off, you can do a chain 2 with a slip stitch. If you've changed colors, fasten on in any chain 2 corner space and work your first double crochet. You can either chain 3 or work your stacked singles. Again, I'm going to do a stacked single to serve as mine. And again, 2 double crochets into the same space. That's half of a corner made. Chain 1, and now you have a side space. And in the side space, just work 3 double crochets. Chain 1, and back to a corner space. 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles. Continue all the way around, and I'll see you on the other side. When you come to the end of the round, 3 double crochets, then chain 2 with a slip stitch to fasten off, or a half double crochet if you're continuing on. To continue on, repeat round 3 until you complete your project. For the very final round, I like it to look as neat as possible, so I like to do a chain 2 with an invisible join. So I've done my chain 2, cut my yarn, grab a yarn needle, working into the second stitch, not the first one, but the second, going under both loops, coming back into the chain, back loop only. And then I come back in right underneath to anchor it down. This gives me a beautiful invisible join with very clear stitches. For the solid granny, we're starting just like we did before. You can start with a magic ring or chain 4 with a slip stitch to form your ring. And chain 2 to serve as your first half double crochet. 2 half doubles into the ring. Chain 2, 3 half doubles into the ring. Chain 2, 3 half doubles, just like the granny square version. If you are fastening off, do a chain 2 with a slip stitch and then reattach into any chain 2 space. If you're working with the same color, I recommend a half double crochet. To put you in the middle of the corner. So you should see 3 clusters of half double crochets and 3 chain 2 spaces. Starting on round 2 and throughout, now we're moving to double crochets. Chain 3 to serve as your first double crochet, or you can do stacked singles. For the solid granny square, instead of doing 3 double crochets in the corners, we're only doing 2. So here's my first double, adding 1 more into the same space. Moving to the side, we're going to work a double crochet in each stitch across. I have 3, so that's 3 double crochets. And then for the corner, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, all in the same space. Now we're just going to continue this all the way around. We're working a double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. Now be very careful here that you don't skip over one. It always hides in the corner there, so there it is right there. If you're right-handed, it leans slightly to the right. If you're left-handed, it leans slightly to the left. 1, 2, and 3. Back to a corner, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles. Continue all the way around, and I'll see you on the other side. When you come to your final corner, 2 more doubles into the first corner space. If you're switching colors, chain 2 and fasten off in the first stitch made, or if you're staying with the same one, half double crochet into the first stitch to continue on. For each round, you're going to increase by 4 stitches on each side. So for example, we started with 3 stitches on the side for round 1. For round 2, you'll see 7. And then when we move on to round 3, you'll see 11. And speaking of that, ready for round 3, if you switched colors, fasten back on in any chain 2 corner space and work a double crochet using your favorite method. And if you're here with me, chain 3 or work stacked singles to serve as your first double crochet. Now we're just going to repeat what we did, adding 1 more double crochet into the corner, work a double crochet in each stitch on the side. We have 7 to work into. Corner, 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles. Continue all the way around, very easy. And I'll see you on the other side. And then when you come to your first corner, we need to complete it. So 2 double crochets. And as always, complete your round using your favorite method, either with a chain 2 slip stitch or a half double crochet. I'm going to stop here on round 3, so I'm going to do the chain 2 with an invisible join. After round 3, you should see 11 stitches on each side between the chain 2 spaces. Continuing on, your sides will increase by 4 each round, so the next round would be 15. For the solid granny, it's very similar. We're replacing the chain 2 spaces with a tall stitch. But I do recommend that you grab yourself some stitch markers to help stay on track. Starting just like the others, magic ring or chain 4 with a slip stitch to form a ring. Just like before, we're working with half double crochets for round 1, but we're replacing the chain 2 spaces with a double crochet. So to begin, chain 3, or you can do stacked singles if you prefer. Whatever you want to do to serve as that first double crochet. I'm going to put a stitch marker into the top chain, and then 3 half double crochets into the ring. Double crochet, that's our next corner, 3 half doubles, double crochet, and then 3 half double crochets. Slip stitch into the top of the very first stitch made. To complete the round. If you are changing colors, you can fasten off here and then reattach into any double crochet stitch. But we're just going to continue on with the same color here. For round 2 and throughout, now we're working with double crochets and treble crochets for our corners. A good way to make sure that you stay on track is to go backwards. Establish where the 3 stitches on the side are. 1, 2, 3. So here's my place to work into. For our corners, we're working 2 double crochets, a treble, and 2 double crochets. So we're going to start with a treble crochet. You can either chain 4 or do stacked singles to serve as a treble. So I'll do stacked singles. 1, 2, 3. And in the same place, add 2 double crochets. Next, work a double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. And we're back to a corner. 2 double crochets, treble, and 2 double crochets, all in the same stitch. Adding a stitch marker into the treble, just so I don't have to think. I don't like thinking too hard. And then a double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. Continue all the way around, and I'll see you on the other side. And we're back to the final stitch. We just need to fill it with 2 more double crochets. And slip stitch in the top of the very first stitch made to complete. And again, you should see 7 stitches per side between each treble crochet. If you're changing colors, fasten off here and reattach in any treble crochet stitch. Again, I like to backtrack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to make sure I have enough stitches to work into. It can get a little confusing in here. I want to work right there. I'll go ahead and do 3 stack singles to serve as my treble. And we're just continuing on with what we've been doing. In the same stitch, add 2 more doubles. And work your stitches on the side, do your corner all the way around. Really, really simple. The hardest part is just recognizing those treble crochet stitches. So these stitch markers are going to be your survival. And back to our final corner, we add 2 more doubles. And then we slip stitch into the top to fasten off. I'm going to do the invisible join because I'm stopping at round 3. And that's your no gap triangle. If you're continuing on with rounds, the math is the same. You're increasing by 4 stitches per side. So you started with 3, it went up to 7, then 11, and then the next round would be 15 per side between the treble crochet stitches. For troubleshooting, chains are your best friend. You may find that it's working too tightly for you. In that case, you want to add chains. Instead of a chain 2, I'd replace it with a chain 3. If you're finding that it's getting too wavy, for the granny square version at least, you could take away the chain 1 on the sides. For the solid grannies, you can omit stitches instead of chains. But if you do that, be sure to leave a note for yourself to stay on track with the math. If you decide to go pretty big, you are going to notice some skewing or swishing. So I would recommend that instead of staying on the same side for every round, flip after every round. All that means is when you finish a round, instead of staying on the same side, you're going to flip it and then either reattach your yarn or continue on with the pattern. That's why being in the middle is so convenient, because the pattern stays the same either way. That will help a lot with that, but really staying to about 4 or 5 rounds is really your sweet spot. To do your bunting, to make this into a garland, very, very easy. You're just going to create chains and slip stitches. And really there isn't a certain pattern for this. You're just going to decide how much tail you want on one side. Grab a triangle, find a corner, slip stitch into the corner, and slip stitch across. You can join the next triangle immediately if you want. Just play with different counts of chains and see what you like best. Just try to make sure to keep everything nice and even. You don't want your chain to twist. And then continue on. The only thing I forgot to mention is blocking your triangles. Blocking does wonders for the shape of them. Just pin them onto a board and spritz them with water or put some steam over the top of it, depending on the type of yarn you're using. Let it cool and it'll keep its shape. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, a like is always appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.